It will continue off and on until the military release the result of the June 12 election and put the democratically elected president, who is myself, in charge of affairs. I won't go to war. I won't encourage my supporters to go to war. I will fight for peace, and we will get peace. But you see, we do not want the peace of a graveyard, a peace whereby somebody continues to ride on the rest of us with a gun. We will get peace, but we'll get peace with decency and integrity and honesty and probity and democracy.
Abiola was eventually arrested from his home in Lagos by men from the secret police in June 1994. During his arrest, he made this call to the BBC.
What is happening at your house? Are you being arrested?
Hello everyone, welcome to my Future Africa. Today we'll be covering an entire playlist titled The Strange Life and Death of Abiola. Welcome to episode 1. Born in August 24, 1937 in Abeokuta, Ogun State, Moshood Kashimowo Olawale Abiola, popularly known as MKO Abiola, rose to prominence to become the second democratically elected president of Nigeria after several years of military leadership, a position he never occupied. He is known to be an accountant, a businessman, a politician, a publisher, and a philanthropist. After winning Nigeria's presidential election on June 12, 1993, the election was annulled by General Ibrahim Babangida, a personal friend and the then military president of Nigeria. The election was annulled on allegations that there were cases of corruption and unfair practice. The political crisis after the election led to the rise of a new military president, General Sani Abacha. Abiola returned to Nigeria in 1994 after a trip aimed at winning foreign support to declare himself the lawful elected president of Nigeria. He was arrested on the orders of General Sani Abacha on grounds of treason following that declaration. International outcry from activists and prominent personalities like Pope John Paul II and Archbishop Desmond Tutu of South Africa for his release fell on deaf ears. The sole condition for Abiola's release was that he renounce his mandate, something that he refused to do. Abiola would go on to spend some time in prison as a political prisoner, after which he died strangely after a meeting in a guest house in Abuja, the capital of Nigeria, with Nigeria's government officials and Ambassador Susan Rice, a special envoy of the American delegation and visiting diplomat, in whose presence Abiola died on July 7th of 1998 at the age of 60. This wasn't long after the death of General Abacha, who reportedly died of heart attack. Abiola reportedly started sweating profusely after drinking a cup of tea which Susan Rice had served and encouraged him to drink when he coughed during their meeting. Till this day, the exact cause of death cannot be reliably ascertained. There have been many accounts of this death. On June 6, 2018, Muhammadu Buhari, the president of Nigeria, declared June 12 as the new date for the celebration of Democracy Day, as opposed to May 29, which was when the former head of state, General Salami Abubakar, handed over power to an elected president, Olusegun Obasanjo, in 1999. This marks the end of this episode. We see it important to cover this story because several accounts of Africa's history has been manipulated in one form or the other. An example is the case of General Sani Abacha, who most Nigerians believe died after eating an apple given to him by his girlfriend. But an official story from a former chief security officer, Major Hamza Al-Mustafa, who was very close to him, states that shortly after the handshake, he noticed the change in the countenance of the late Commander-in-Chief and immediately informed the aide-de-camp, Lieutenant Colonel Abdullah, who advised that they keep a close watch on him. Later in the evening of June 8, 1998, at around 6 p.m., his doctor came around and administered an injection to stabilize him. He was advised to have a short rest after that injection, and at 5 a.m., the security guards ran to his quarters, that's the quarters of Al-Mustafa, to inform him that Abacha was very unstable. You can read more on this account provided by Major Al-Mustafa, who was very close to General Sani Abacha, in one of the references provided below. This playlist covers various accounts of Abiola's life and death, but does not contain any conspiracy about his death. We will leave that to you, the viewers, to evaluate the accounts provided in various episodes of this playlist. We look forward to seeing you in our next episode. Bye.
If the time is right, if the time is right, and it all depends on a lot of things. I haven't been taking part in this political process since it started in 1987. You need to know the people you are working with, and you need to know that a tree does not make a forest. Like I said, nobody claps with only one hand.
It has to be both.
It has to be so many hands.
But there is this general acceptance.
Yeah, there is the attitude of our people that it's about time we had a leader from this part of the country too. That is part of the thing too. But I agree with that. But I don't know. See, I'm thinking about it.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
No, I've ventured a lot. You see, a situation where I will have to go through primaries and so on when I haven't really made any preparation. That there are 7,000 wards in this country. 7,000 wards.
You have made preparations. You have.
You think I have?
Yes, I think you have. You don't have to go out there.
That's true.
You have.
The name is already there.
Anyway, we
Wish you luck, sir.
Yeah, thank you. I will be able to let you know about the 3rd or so of March.
Okay.
All the reports will have come in then.
Oh, we love this.
You know, I don't do things without examining them. And although we didn't have time to prepare for this interview, it is clear that the answer showed exercised my mind on all those issues that you raised.
Exactly.
I think about it all the time. It is important that one should be very serious with what one wants to do. Nobody can clap with one hand. To clap, you need two hands. I can provide the money. I provide even the time. You remember, I followed the team to play their match against Nchanga Rangers. We got to Lusaka. We were told by the NFA that the match would be played in Lusaka. We struggled there on the eve of the match to be told that we'll be playing in Nchanga. I had to beg for a flight to hire to charter an F-27, fly us to Ndola at 10:30 at night, hired a bus from Ndola to take us to through Kitwe to Nchanga, only to find that the bus driver was drunk. So I drove the bus myself for 3.5 hours. We were stopped by armed robbers 3 times on the road. I had to bribe our way through into Kitwe. We got to Kitwe at 2:30 in the morning of the day of the match to find that the officials had left for Kitwe. So we had dropped the boys, made sure they rested quickly, drove the same bus back to Kitwe to look for the officials to bring them back at 7 in the morning to officiate. I was prepared to do that. Because see, it's not just money. You need to know what problems these boys faced. We took the boys then on their way back had problem connecting in Addis. They were delayed in Addis for 4 days. I had to wire money for them to eat and so on. Only to find that they were being scratched by Group Captain Obakono, who said because they did not show up in their quarterfinals match against the Maiduguri side, Academy, at their quarterfinals match in Bauchi. I had to fight to get them to be allowed to play that match. They eventually qualified. With all that, when you look at it, it just occurred to me, what happened if these armed robbers, they opened fire on us near Kitwe? If I had been killed, what will I tell my children? And see, you know, there has to be moderation in everything that one does. But if I hadn't been in that bus that day, the bus wouldn't have gone through. They probably would have been waylaid. People would have been severely injured, if not killed. What for? Some of these things we are trying to do, we must try and dose it with some element of realism. Maybe we need to zone some of these things, as I was suggesting, to carve. You see, the cost of transportation too how much it cost me in foreign exchange. We played Esperance in Tunisia. We had evidence that some of my boys took bribe to concede that match. Only to find that we go to the airport and the Italian flight was cancelled because of strike. I had to pay in foreign exchange. In those days, the whole team and the supporters to London to connect back to Lagos in hard currency. So Mr. P.C. Achebe was there. He was the one who said I should disband the whole team. Only to find that I could hardly find a good team to play in the finals at Challenge Cup. It was a miracle that we won that Challenge Cup. I dismissed 12 of my players. See, these things was too much for me. And I'm not getting younger. At the time of Abiola Babes, I was in my early 40s. I'm 54 and a half now. See, these are the things that one must bear in mind. It's not just enough to put and my name connected with something. I want to see that it is very well done. If the Abiola Babes, then Abiola has to be there. You see, I had to leave in Changa that afternoon. They played the match at 2 o'clock because they didn't want our boys to rest. 2 o'clock in the sun. Our boys managed to drove straight to Lusaka to take the Zambian airline 11-hour flight into London for an important meeting. So I couldn't see to the boys being evacuated. They were stranded in Addis. See, there's so much hassle in all these things. And when it's only one man. My father told me when the cousin was made 4-man, my father didn't know it is F-O-R-E. He thought it was F-O-U-R. He said, how can a man call himself 4-man? Every man is one man. I mean, don't put on 4-man. I mean, I'm only one man. Abiola Babes has virtually returned in Concord Football Club, a professional league Division 2 club. They will carry on. Abiola name will not be there. I think the name is already well known. Thank God. You are in Dakar. What other thing could anybody have wanted in his life? Only Nigeria refused to honor me, and I'm sure they will do that one day. But the whole of Africa has done so. What else do I want?